Yeah, and it was funny. One thing you just talked about reminded me of it's been a post I've seen on LinkedIn, a number of times, where I think it was like a CFO CEO discussion. One of them asks, well, what happens if we train people you know, and then they leave?
And I think the other person responds, "What happens if we don't train them and they stay?"
Yeah, that's that was how it is. And that's the thing is like it's the double-edged sword. What do you train them on? What are those key skills you need them to know so that they feel like they're growing and becoming more effective in their job versus what skills are, have traditionally been in-house that now, maybe we just outsource all that. I don't know what that is. I certainly think some of the things we do fit that criteria, right?
Yeah.
I, I'm after having that conversation with a customer where he's like, "Well, why don't you just offer that service?" I wasn't convinced. I'm becoming more convinced. I was like, you're right. Why should an engineer have to sit down and get the data out of the PLC and Kepler? They need to know how it's done. They need to
Mhm.
know, that it can be done and what all it takes to get it done. But to your point, when we left, I guarantee you they spent some time, a significant amount of time over the next couple of weeks getting data out of some machinery that they knew that they needed to get data out of.
Mhm.
Then they may not touch doing that again for 2 or 3 months.
Mhm.
Then it may take them 3 times as long, and we still may get a phone call.
Mhm.
So was that money well spent? And especially if you find out they're really good at what they do, and then you're going to promote them, because that's kind of, if you look at millennial Generation Z workforce and even really Gen X, like we want to come in and have a purpose, and we potentially want to move up, and it's much more rare today that someone wants to kind of stay in a similar role and really become a subject matter expert and become like that kind of engineering fellow type role, as it used to be called, where someone just becomes really, really specialized and really, really good at these one or two things. I see that less and less today, especially in this upcoming generation. They want variety. They want to move around. They want to gain all the expertise. They want to move around both physically and within the company. They want to try different things and kind of figure out where they fit. So kind of knowing that that's what's going on, maybe the really highly specialized stuff that we do, creating that data incoming flow, looking at data quality, creating the visualizations, creating the analytics, you know, um, creating some of the more advanced tools, that you would want to use. Maybe that's a skill that you don't really keep as much in house. I don't know. I don't know what the right answer is. And that's why we're having this discussion. We're going to put it out because I'm trying to figure out is what do we look like in 5 or 10 years? What things are we offering that are of value, that hold true to the principles that I have and the vision that I have? I don't know. I don't know. And that's why I wanted to put this out there. Where do we draw those lines?
I think that you've sold me, Jim. Right? I think that the path, the conversation that we're having, it would make sense for Industrial Insight to offer these services, and it would make sense for customers to take a strong, hard look and say, where do I want to invest, bringing in subject matter experts, and where can I outsource some of those
Yeah.
for maybe less critical offerings.
You know, and,
And that so I
and I'm biased. I think this is an extremely critical offering, right?
Mhm.
I think what we do is very critical, especially in this day and age. And I think even as we have a lot of economic uncertainty, I think this is going to become even more important what we do, especially in an economic downturn, because
Mhm.
companies are going to want to get more lean, more focused, more optimized. I just think that's going to happen. So what we do is going to become even more vitally important, right? But it's really, really
Oh,
difficult to maintain the skill level of what we do in an organization. Companies have not really focused on that, and at least not at the level that we typically work in. Yeah, they'll go hire data scientists and spend millions of dollars trying to create applications, on machine learning and artificial intelligence and all these things. But at this more grunt level, making sure that data coming off the plant floor is correct and using more basic blocking and tackling and first principles, the investment's not really there. And I think it's critical, and I think companies are starting to figure out it's really critical. So what's the balance?